remember malls? One of the most popular places to be in pre-2020s? Yeah, this is kind of like late for me to start 2022 off. So, for all you stars who want to experience being in the mall again, then don't worry. SpongeBob SquarePants has a mall center episode named Mall Go Pull. Let's recap. Before I do the recap, I had to message this first. Throughout this entire episode, there are several references to older SpongeBob episodes, where it's an Easter egg or a cameo. So I will say that if I didn't message this sooner in the video, the people in the comments will complain why I haven't bringing this up. You know what? Just begin with, since we get comments anyways, it will just help my video's engagement and will help the YouTube algorithms want to make this video more. Now, with that being said, let's start the recap for Will this time. Paul is hanging out in her room, fantasizing about boys, casual teenager stuff. Now, after that, Paul wants to hang out with her friends in her house. But all of them are busy working on their jobs in the mall. I guess Paul picked a bad time for her wanting to hang out with her friends then. Well, her friends that only appeared in this episode, by the way. Now, at the mall, Paul is trying to get the same jobs as her friends. But unfortunately, none of them are hiring right now. Feeling sad, Paul still wants to have a job in the mall though. And that's where this old face named B-Wise is willing to hire her for Grandma's apron. And yeah guys, that fish right here, there is actually named B-Wise. You wouldn't know if you pay attention to the credits, which I'm pleased to know you guys pay attention to. Hi everybody, this is Future Spirit Stars here. I just realized after I voiced the weekend sense of this video, I just realized that B-Twist is his name. I mispronounced the B-Wise for some reason, as he was mentioned once in this episode.
They called me Boring Beatrice. Not very creative, those girls.
So yeah, I just wanted to clear that up. I do have to apologize for the mispronounces for the rest of the weekend session. Now, fifth time! Season 9 has the most amount of celebrities that plays one-time characters. Now, I honestly don't know if there's a reason to this. Either the couples that really wanted their stars to be in the show for one episode, or it's Nickelodeon's decision. Now, in either case, we don't have to worry that much for guest appearances after season 9, so that's nice. Now, Mongo Paul features two guesses. Avery Plaza versus Nocturna, the fish with the eagle look, and Betty White versus B-Wise. The latter was supposed to be turning 100 years old today, January 17th, but she unfortunately passed away on New Year's Eve 2021. She didn't even get to see 2022. That is actually says sad. If anyone who are wondering what the cause her death was, it's just by natural causes, which considering with the this going on in the last few years is probably the best way for her to die. Now, Betty White was well known as an actor and an album lover, so it makes complete sense to have her voice a character that talks with other sea creatures. So, in that case, I'm just gonna say this right now. So it says, happy birthday, Betty White, and also rest in peace.
And she's no longer with us.
With her new job, Paul decides to brag about it to her friends during their last time. However, they laugh at her because she works with old people. You know, that stereotype that old people look nasty and appealing to youth? You know, considering that this show is targeted at children, I guess this what this is. She should always be standable for children than for me, honestly. Now, at Grandma's apron, B.Y. decides to show Paul that she too was being teased when she was young. Then she tells her that she should have as much fun as possible. So basically, I'm pretty sure the main lesson of this story is that I think no matter how much you get point, as long as you be yourself, then you will live a happy life. Now, though I guess that's probably gonna be a while because what gonna happen afterwards. Now, what happens afterwards is B.Y.'s teaching Paul how to be a grandma. However, Paul's friends show up again, catching Paul in the act. B.Y. wants the girls to be polite, but more time tries to use the hot dog on his skin as a weapon. Now, in return, B.Y. uses her gravity power to stop that and only tie that up in a star. Yeah, maybe these sites don't underestimate the old people. They may be wise, but they also still have the power to bite back. And to tease Paul's plans more, B.Y. decides to tell them some of her stories. Like the first time that she saw a talking piss or so. Now, in the end, they confess that they never meant to hurt Paul's feelings in the first place. In fact, they just don't get old people. See the last time I mentioned earlier in the episode? Yeah, that basically what happens. Also, they pretty much deserve it for teasing Paul like that. Now, while Paul had fun being a grandma, B.Y. tells her that being young means that she gets to have more time to have fun. Because when she's old, she doesn't have much time left. Paul saves B.Y.'s hand gently, by the way, which breaks off into her slate. Now, one of these buzzers was kind enough to get her head back before the episode ended. Okay, so my overall opinion on Marco Paul is actually unexpected. While we see what only when I wanted to review Marco Paul for Pennywise's birthday as well as her passing, that I actually didn't expect this episode to be the better than I expected. I thought that, considering that I am an introvert in nature, I thought I would actually enjoy this episode, but actually I'm quite surprised at the outcome. Even though nothing really much happens in this episode until the end, I will do implicitly think the message was trying to go through. Like the fact that when you're young, you actually have more time to just be yourself or just have fun in general, compared to when you're old, because you don't really have much time left before you inevitably just pass away for something. So yes, this is a good lesson in general. And I will message this like, usually with these reviews, or actually with all my modern reviews, I want it to be as fair as possible with the way I give to each episode. So, because if you guys happen to like this episode, or just hate it for some reason, then I do want it to be as fair as possible with my reviews, and just be honest as what I give, because trust me, because I'm pretty sure there are reviews out there where it seems to be very biased for this, and not be very biased at all. You see, I don't usually go to malls that often. So yeah. So if you do like to be in the mall, before 2020, then you will enjoy this episode. If you actually keep to watching it since for paying white itself, then that's also good too, because he did play a major role in this episode compared to the other saying that were featured in this episode. I'm kind of sorry, Aiden Plaza. You didn't really did that much, honestly. Besides that one light that she doesn't want to whether we remind of the past or as the seasons hate the past scenario. This is an emo thing to say. Anyways, with that being said, I will give Marco Polo a 4 stars out of 5. Right? Because even though this was not going to be my best SpongeBob episode of season 9, like at any time soon, so I will admit it was a nice pleasant surprise to me. Okay, so before I start off, I wanted to mention a few things first. Number one, that this whole review video wasn't supposed to be my first video of 2022, but considering how much I actually super penny line, even if I not really as a test is compared to other people's on the internet, she was actually a kind soul. So I do have to respect her. I heard what was supposed to be her 100th birthday. I really wanted to make this episode to the case, even though I am not particularly interested in malls or even in Paul, but yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much the main reason why I wanted to make this video in the first place. Another thing is that on Friday, there will be another Spirit Star tie. This tie is just be about the plans that I am going to be doing on the channel to 2022, so that would be nice. Well, anyway, this is gonna go on way too long if I start keeping this for so long. So anyways, if you guys enjoyed this review video, then you can go ahead and watch my last review video on SpongeBob's Road to Crystal over there, or you can just watch a video that YouTube suggested on the bottom over there. So, with that being said, Spirit Star signing off.